Hey Jazz, welcome in. How are you? Hello everyone, welcome in. All right, Jazz. Hi, Cece. All right, so Jazz, I'm getting a no. I don't think this person has completely ghosted you. I do think she's going to communicate with you again. The only thing I'm having a hard time seeing is how soon she's going to communicate with you. Let's see. Um, I think it's gonna be a while before you hear from this person again. So this might end up being something where you move on from her before she even has the opportunity to come back into your life. Because what they're showing me is Gemini season, but that is already past, which means they're referencing next year. So I don't think this person's completely ghosted you or cut you off, but I would say you could consider it that just because of how long it's going to be before she has intentions of reaching back out to you. So it's like one of those situations where you could potentially like go months and months and months without hearing from her, and potentially meet someone new even before she comes back around. I don't think this is necessarily someone you want to like try to foster and maintain a relationship with, at least in this phase of her life, just because she seems unstable in her energy. You said her communication is trash. Jazz, do you know what her moon's is? Like where her moon is at? Cece, I got your donation for an in-depth reading. I think this is you on Cash App. So you will be next after Jazz. Oh, you just met her a week ago. I mean, I don't know, girl. I just don't like this. I don't like the way this is starting off for you. And it kind of feels like she's being a little bit flippant with your feelings and just a little careless. I just don't think this is like a great start for a connection, especially if you're looking for something romantic and stable. Mystic, thank you. I have I'm working on Jazz right now and I have one other person ahead of you, okay? I don't necessarily think this is the end of communication with her, and I do think that she'll reach out to you, but I think it's going to come at an unideal time. And I think you're going to go a while without hearing from her. It looks like you had another question for me. Okay, cool. Let me know when you're ready. Just go ahead and drop your question. Jazz, I just saw your comment where you said you're a little hungover. I must have missed that. Did you go out last night? No. Ugh, well, hopefully you'll feel better by tomorrow. Hey, Jasmine. We got another Jazz in here. Oh, well, you're stronger than me. Jasmine Moore, I got your donation. I posted the list in the chat, so you'll kind of see where you fall. You're Raptor Mystic. All right, so they are showing that this, you're right, that this is on pause right now with Bliss. We have the Hanged Man. You said that you feel like she'll try to come back into your life, and I am getting a confirmation on that. We have the Strength and the Ace of Pentacles. Those are both yes cards for me. But the Strength card does talk about a tornado, metaphorical tornado that's happening in the background, meaning that while this may be something front and center that looks like a good thing, like Bliss coming back into your life seems like good news, there's kind of this like hidden storm that's happening in the background of it all. So kind of like at face value, it feels nice to have this person come back around, but underneath the surface there's like rumblings of like something not good. So it feels almost like something bad tied in a nice little bow, if that makes sense. I did pull energy cards. I used the Moonology deck, and I did get the card that says nothing will come of this situation. So actually, you've got Leo shit coming through right now too, which is kind of funny, especially because the last question was about a Leo. What I feel like is that you and Bliss kind of reach your potential. You surprise yourself sometimes. You and Bliss kind of reach your potential. I don't think that anything more comes of this. Yeah, you do have water elements for sure in this reading. I don't know. I don't know. I almost feel like there's a lot of like chemistry here, and maybe even like physical attraction. There's a lot of allure to this person you're asking about within your relationship or within your connection, but I feel like it hits like a glass ceiling. Like I feel like there's only so much that you guys can explore together, the two of you. And I just feel like it kind of doesn't really go anywhere. Maybe things kind of move along a little bit more than last time when she comes back into your life. But I just feel like you guys keep hitting this block or hitting this wall, essentially, where you reach your maximum potential. And it's unfortunately not in a place that you probably want it to be. She's no good either. She doesn't believe in commitment. Her and I always end up arguing and then go months without communicating. Hey, Jazz, if that is not what I just described, I don't know what does. I said that I feel like she'll come back around and it seems like a good thing, but there's like a storm in the background. And I said that I feel like you guys have hit your potential, that there's not really anything that can come from this. And you said she doesn't believe in commitment. And I said that you guys have a lot of attraction for each other and there's chemistry here, but it doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, I do feel like that was pretty spot on. ACC, you donated, right? So Jazz, I mean, I think with this situation, I remember saying like you have to just take it at face value. You have to accept this connection for what it is. So if it's a hookup, it's a hookup. If you are not interested in that, then that's okay too. But I don't think it's going to develop into something more like a commitment.
Yes, and as a fiduciary, we always think this first. We can still feel commission is fun. No, we have a different management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better. Huh, we're more different than I thought. At Fisher Investment, we're clearly different. Shop the Labor Day sale at Sherwin-Williams and transform your space with color. Get 35% off paints and stains with nail paint at $31.84. Hurry in all the September 4th. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop with them online.
Yeah, Jazz. And words are nice and all, but it's really actions that you have to focus on, because anybody can be charming, charismatic, sweet talk, tell you what you want to hear, but if that's not backed up by actions, then it really doesn't mean anything. I think you have to focus more on the actions. It doesn't mean words aren't true. It just means that there's no follow through on what it is that she's saying. And I really believe that if someone was truly in love with you, they would do what they needed to do to make it work. I understand that for sure.
Membership for the spouses, kids, and grandkids of those who serve. Count on us. Count on USA. The U.S. Open on TV.
You said I'm gonna have fun ignoring both of them. Exactly. Thank you, Luna. You're welcome. Was that it for the night? I think you're making a good move. I think it's a good call to kind of move on. I just feel like if someone is really into you and someone's interested in getting to know you or wanting to be with you, they're just going to just do it. I really don't think you have to sit there. If you have to sit there and convince someone that you're worthy or that you have value, it's just not the connection for you. And I feel like if you know each other for a short amount of time and it's already like pulling teeth to try to get this person to show up consistently, this is the time where it's the most fun, in the beginning of the relationships, where you're getting to know each other and you can't stop talking to each other. And like if you are already feeling like you're chasing someone from the beginning, that's just they're not as interested as they think they are, or that you think they are. Because the beginning of a relationship should be the easiest, not the hardest. You think you're making a good move? They can keep the energy where they are. Yep. That's how I feel. I feel like 2025 was the year of not wasting time. Cece, I'm not sure if you saw my comment, but you can post your question when you're ready. I have you down for an in-depth reading.
He's making his first career start at center. He's a veteran player. He's made quite a few starts at this is his first game playing center for St. Mary's. This goes as a third and long here for the Bears, a one opportunity for them to take the field. The center who wasn't the center until a week ago. So not only has he never played center in the game, he wasn't the center for most of the practice.
Current feelings. Okay.
You can see him right here. He keeps his hands on the defender before the reception point. You can't do that if you're throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage. You can't, you're trying to run a little inside catch and carry. On the field. Get kind of a low line tax.
All right. So the first thing that's coming through is that he's okay with this no contact right now. He's not always going to feel this way. I have the 9 of Wands. So I guess like up until this point or right now, he's like, maybe this is for the best. I have the 9 of Cups here. So maybe he's just trying to, I guess, just respect your wishes and just allow for you to keep him at a distance. There is a lot of energy in this reading that talks about his strategy. It talks about him thinking of all the different ways this can go, maybe strategizing how to get back in your good graces. Again, right now he's fine with the situation, but it's not something he's going to be fine with forever. And I would even argue that the longer this goes on, the more, I guess, unbelievable to him this is going to be. He feels conflicted, but he feels... How long has this been going on? Is this new? Because I almost feel like in the beginning and up until this point, at least, he's like, oh, it's fine. You know, she just needs to cool off. But I almost feel like the longer this will go on, the more it sets in over time. It is new. Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, that's why I think he's okay right now. But I think that the longer this goes on for, the more frustrated, I guess, he will become. Because I think for right now, he thinks this is temporary. So he's okay with it. It seems like maybe you're more serious this time around. He still is viewing you as his main person. Like, you know, you are being given girlfriend status, like the person that he's committed to the most. You have the Empress card, so this card kind of tells me that the trajectory of your relationship from his perspective was going to be long term. And maybe he feels like you are a good match for him or you are very compatible for him. It doesn't mean that it goes the other way around. It doesn't mean you view him that way. But this is, again, his perspective. So, you know, from his perspective, it's like it doesn't get better than you. Doesn't mean that just because he feels that way, he knows what to do with that or he knows how to treat you right. Yeah, it seems like you're dealing with someone who isn't fully sure what he wants. And maybe because he's exploring other connections, that's partly why he's so okay with how things are right now. But like I said, I think that there's going to come a time where he's going to get frustrated to not have access to you anymore, because he probably thinks from his perspective that this is temporary. I hope it works out for him. So you sound like you're pretty much done with this guy. Well, what I will say is it doesn't seem like he's going to give up that easily. But keep him blocked. That will just make it easier for you to stand your ground. And if he doesn't have access to you and he can't communicate with you, then he's kind of out of luck, isn't he? Yeah. With the long history of drama that you're mentioning and feeling like you're kind of on this hamster wheel, so to speak, good riddance. I think you just gotta stay on your path. Just continue with this distance and pulling your energy away from him. I know that you're asking more from like his perspective, which is why I'm trying to tell you he's not going to give up easily. But I think that if you just make it really hard on him, then he eventually will walk away. I think he's going to get frustrated once he kind of, I don't know, once he kind of gets this other girl out of his system. Yeah. You got to do what's best for you. That's the great part of free will, is that you can make that decision. And no matter what, even if you're curious about his feelings and what it is I'm telling you, it shouldn't alter your decision making if that's not something you want. Is this friend that you're talking about an ex-friend of yours because of what's happening right now with this person?
So you got to think maybe screen draw something that's a guaranteed completion to make it more manageable on 4. Show expressions to manage and great pressure. Rush 4 are created as complete. So the higher the Wells is intended target and the top of the weapon. The slots. Something special twos good on the field, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, she was an ex-friend. Okay. Just let them be karmic lessons then in each other's life, and you just move on and enjoy your life. Yeah, maybe they deserve each other, right? Jasmine, did you upgrade to a BOGO? Match made in heaven. You're welcome, Cece. Just stay the course. Know that you're doing what's best for you, you know? All right, Jasmine, that sounds good. All right, so next up we have Mystic. Mystic, are you still in here? Cece, I hope you have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you in here soon, hopefully.
You go together like Pepsi and a hot dog.
I didn't miss that. Drops my skin. Despite treatment,
We're going to give Mystic another minute or two to get her question posted.
and helps clear the rash of eczema.
If for whatever reason she stepped out of the room,
And some achieve dramatic skin clearance.
and we don't want to wait too long, I'll move on to Jasmine. But we're going to just give her a minute or two to get her question posted and or come back in.
Serious infections or clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occur. See the event risk increases in age 50 plus with a high disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events, infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant or planned. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your dermatologist about Rinvo.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Yeah, last year for the Cal Bears football team, I think a really disappointing season overall. Why was that? Well, they won 6 games, 6-7 first year as part of the ACC. 4 losses by a total of 9 points. That doesn't even really tell the story. Agonizing losses. Then you get
All right, if we don't hear from Mystic, and we'll give her like one more minute, then Jasmine, you'll be next. If you want to go ahead and get your questions prepped for me, and we'll go from there. All right, Jasmine, I guess we'll go ahead and get on over to you so we don't waste too much time.
slot wide receiver. He's not a big guy. Was a very productive player in the UNLV. He played the last couple seasons at UNLV. Well, help from his buddy Tron Brazil on the outside, made a great block. But then Jesus, he's somebody that the coaches were raving about this week and really excited to see him play tonight. Oregon State taking their time. Defensive substitutions, with job substitutes. They're not hustling off the field in a lot of instances. The Jesus in motion on 1st and 10. It's on the number 10, right? Stupendous rock coming out, but what a play by Nico Taylor. It's a beautiful play by Nico Taylor. He's at his defensive position and just completely read what's going on. Look at the left side of your screen, number 25.
That's Gunner.
He started out
at all times. But it doesn't know how to ask for it. Mom told me today she's moving in November. Basically blamed the entire deterioration of the family dynamic on me. Oh my gosh. Still think that's a good idea, moving your stuff out. If I were you, I would start with the like higher value things, the things that are the most important to you. Get those things out of the house. Because what you don't want is some kind of conflict there with maybe someone taking your things or hiding them, or like just some kind of issue. I would just start with the things that are of most value to you, whether that's monetary value or sentimental value, and then work your way over to like the things that matter the least. Like if it was damaged or taken or something like that, you could easily replace it. But that's what I would recommend, because I don't trust these people. Do you pay rent currently with where you currently live, or were you living there free of charge? I'm wondering because I have the Emperor. You are paying rent. Okay. That could be a part of it. Part of their issue, because I was picking up like financial issues. I feel like one of your parents is not holding up their end of the bargain. I have the Emperor here and the Three of Swords, so it's like your stepdad is not coming through financially the way that he should be, or your mom isn't, or something like that. And considering that you were paying rent to live there, I think this is throwing a wrench in their plans. I feel like essentially, like if you were being overcharged, or if you were overpaying them. But I do think that there's like a reliance that they were having on your finances. That's funny, because I was just thinking kind of what position this puts them in, and I just heard my TV say under pressure and under duress. So I'm wondering if like this is putting them in like a financial situation that's putting a lot of pressure on them. The issue is that, hold on. I think that she has a plan to move in November. I think she really just wants to make you feel bad and hit you on an emotional level to make you feel like they don't know you're moving. Well, I had a feeling that you didn't tell them because you wanted to kind of keep this to yourself and you wanted to keep it under wraps. Wait, is she moving out separately? There is something to do with finances here. Is she moving herself out somewhere? Okay, I don't know if you remember, but the last reading that we did, I was telling you that they're having marital issues. And it's making me wonder. what the hell's going on here? Because she's you said that she's saying she's moving, but I'm like, is she moving by herself?
Nothing personal. It's leaning away for more sunlight.
Come here.
Gemini, any pointers on my downward dog?
It's a Google Pixel 10 Pro from Verizon.
I feel like there are a lot of moving pieces to this situation.
Did you know people are 90% more likely to eat breakfast when they're with their crew? And at Wendy's, you can all have 2 of your select faves for just $3.
They both are.
Yeah, I totally made up that stat. $3 breakfast? We got Wendy's.
Oh my god, this is actually really hilarious because I don't know if they're actually going to move, to be honest. Because I asked if they're actually moving and I'm getting a no. I think you're throwing a wrench in their plans. Well, yes, Jasmine, of course, because of course they're going to direct that energy towards you because they don't want to address the issues they're having within their relationship. But imagine the surprise they're going to have when they decide that they want to move somewhere and they're basically trying to get away from you essentially, and you're already 1 foot out the door. They might not end up moving. But the other factor of this is that when they do find out that you are leaving, that their hand might be forced either way just because you are contributing financially to the household. What they're going to have, though, is a very rude awakening when they realize that they thought you were the problem the whole time. And then when you're no longer a part of the equation, then they have nothing to do but focus on themselves. No, but someone's not pulling their weight in this relationship. And honestly, I think that they both know that they're unhappy, but they, instead of like actually addressing their issues with each other, they think that this is going to solve the problem for them. There's definitely something to do with finances. Pentacles keeps coming up. There's like in Pentacles doesn't always have to do with money, but generally it does. It has to do with money, finances, livelihood, salaries, things like that. The Pentacles have to do with like the earthly means, the earthly realm. Swords are mental, cups are emotional, wands are passionate. Those are all things that are more like feelings within the body. However, the pentacles are the things that are tangible of this earth. She lied in your face. Your stepdad relies on your mom. So yeah, one of them's not pulling their weight, and I think they're the person that is having to kind of carry the load, which it sounds like is your mom, is growing resentment. And instead of directing that at the right person, she's directing it at you. She's probably trying to affect you, and I'm sorry to say, manipulate you emotionally by trying to tell you that they're moving out, make you feel like you are the problem. However, if you're positive she doesn't know that you're moving out, this is going to be the shock of the century to her, because she's going to think that she's screwing you over and that she's going to like make your life a living hell, but really you're already on the way out the door, where she's not going to be able to manipulate the situation anymore. And I don't think she's moving in November. I've got to be honest. I have the 9 of Wands here. If I'm wrong, the reason she would be forced out of the situation at that point would just be because of financial reasons. But I don't know. Something tells me that it doesn't happen. Sometimes I feel like with her, it can be all kind of bark and no bite. It could just be like a way to try to take the dagger and turn it, like make you feel a certain way. But I think maybe she thought this would affect you worse than what it is. Because if she says that she's moving and leaving you, that would put you in a bind. That would put you in a bad way or bad situation, because then you'd have to find a place to live. But little does she know you already did, and you already are moving. So there's a little bit of everything here. There's a little bit of manipulation. There's a little bit of, how can I just drive this knife in even deeper? And how can I direct my anger, resentment, and frustration away from my marriage and onto someone else? I think it really is just a matter of trying to get a rise out of you, Jasmine, or some kind of reaction. Because what I feel like is happening is you aren't really giving her much. You aren't allowing her to get you mad or get a rise out of you. You're not showing emotionally, like, if this is affecting you. And let's be honest, your mom's a little bit of a bully, and bullies want reactions out of people. They're like, they crave it. That's why they do that. So if you're not giving her anything, she can't read it on you, then she doesn't know if what she's saying is working. And that's like the biggest leg up that you can do, is not let someone know that you care or that you have feelings about it either way. Just acting really aloof. So the apartment that you ended up choosing, she's a sociopath. Well, yeah, that makes sense. The apartment you ended up choosing, is that the one that we talked about? Yay! Is it official? Oh, you're gonna apply next week. Okay. Let's see. Love that for you. And do you remember too, when I told you that you're gonna, your mom's not gonna let this like transition happen without disturbance? So I feel like a lot of these like things you're dealing with right now when it comes to her is like her trying to kind of somehow stop you or make this more complicated or make this harder on you. And I think it's just going to get more and more apparent when she realizes like it's official and you are leaving. And I feel like she'll pull out her whole bag of tricks, to be honest. So you're going to feel with the move that you're tying up loose ends. In a life that has felt very open-ended and maybe at times directionless, it is going to feel like the move is going to allow you to finally start to like tie up those loose ends basically, and like detach yourself from the things of the past. Jasmine, sometimes people just come out messed up. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Like, maybe something happened to her that is like she's kind of kept under wraps, possibly. You know, it doesn't mean that it was her childhood that messed her up, but a lot of times it is. But you know, my biological father, he had a great family. He has a great family. Um, you know, there's some ways of parenting styles that they have that I don't necessarily agree with personally. But they always had the best of intentions. Very, very, very good people, thoughtful people. Doesn't mean they didn't make their mistakes raising my biological father, but I feel like overall they're very, very good people. And for some reason, he just is an asshole. So I I don't really think it's always the parents' fault. Again, I don't know what his childhood was like, but I think sometimes people just come out that way. You just have to hope that if you're having kids, you can guide them better, you can pay more attention to them. You know, maybe your sociopathic tendencies or, you know, narcissistic tendencies can come from neglect in some way. Maybe your mom felt like she wasn't paid attention to enough as a child, and the only way to get attention from people was to be negative and ruin other people's lives. At least that way you're paying attention to me. You know, maybe she, you know, had good parents. Maybe they didn't give her enough structure when she was growing up, or not enough affection. Or you can have really great parents and feel like you were given the short end of the stick in some way. So it's like, I don't know like why this would have happened with her. But anyways, at least I hate to say it does run in your family. Grandmother was horrible to your great grandmother. Yeah, so I mean, just break the cycle is all I can say. Please break the cycle. But as far as the move goes, though, I do feel like there's a sense of peace, conclusion, resolve, essentially. I think things are going to be a little up in the air for you for a while you settle into your new life. But you do have the Six of Cups, which talks about like comfort and immediate comfort. I do see you kind of having to sneak some of your belongings into the apartment or into your car or something, because I have very sneaky, like, let's do this not in plain sight kind of energy. But also, you don't want someone to follow you, right? Like, you don't want this family to know where you're moving to, where you live. So you have to kind of keep this as under wraps as possible, and making sure that they don't know where you're going and no one can follow you. And so there's definitely that like energy underneath of, I just don't want someone to ruin this for me during this move. And so there's a part of you, I'm sorry to say, next month where you're going to be holding your breath a lot of the time until you know that you're free and everything is in its place. There's going to be like this feeling of, is someone going to ruin this for me, hanging over your head. So just brace yourself for that feeling. I'm not saying someone's going to ruin it for you. I'm just saying that I think that you've been through so much trauma that you are going to be constantly looking over your shoulder and worried that like someone's going to come in and try to completely ruin this for you. I think there's also some level of freedom and independence that you feel because you can say, this is my place now. No one can lock me out. Exactly. Remember I said, eyes on the prize, don't get distracted. But once you move in, there's like this, once you get the keys and you can lock your own door, and like, you know that no one can lock you out, no one can hold anything over your head anymore. And you know, someone's on your property or someone's on your premises, if someone figures out where you are, let's say you don't get the clean break you were looking for, you can call the police and you can have them escorted off the premises. It's different when it's your own place. And with that, I do feel like you get a sense of peace and a sense of comfort from this. And I think that you will essentially pull away and just basically try to completely disconnect from this past life of yours. I think that there's going to be remnants of your old life that slowly but surely are going to go away. And at some point, you'll probably even have a new job, a new phone number, a new everything, because you just don't want any parts of your old life to be a part of this new one. So once you move and once you get yourself settled into this apartment, there's going to be other aspects to your life that you're realizing you really want a fresh start from. It might be a new car, it might be a new career, it might be a new phone number, like I said, or a new phone. It might be new furniture. But over time, you know, you're going to realize like how much different your life is than how it used to be. And I feel like you just don't want any residue left over. You know what I mean? You want to completely like cleanse. So just don't get distracted. Don't allow for really unfortunate or shitty circumstances or people being a pain in the ass. Do not let that get in the way of this move. Okay? Yeah, I'm sure you will, because you are already noticing that right now. And once you're able to kind of detach, it's going to be a whole new world for you. You're very welcome, Jasmine. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. I think, God, I just, you know, it's going to take years and years and years for you to kind of unwrap everything that you have been through, because right now you're in survival mode. Just thinking about the years ahead and everything that you have to process. But this is the part that you're going to look back on and say, that was the turning point for me. That was when I knew like something had to give and I couldn't like make myself susceptible to that anymore. So, you know, this is like the finish line, but this is almost like the end of a chapter. You know, there's still much more story to tell for you. And I wish you luck on that journey too, because when you're in survival mode, you don't process the trauma the way that someone who is in a safe space can. And you know, that's gonna be a whole nother thing for you. But I do think you're gonna look back on this time and say, I'm so glad and proud and happy that I love myself enough to make this decision.
can't do either. Precious seconds wasted away. We get lined up and then the end of the playoffs.
You hope these readings aren't draining. No. No, if you were, I have a way to protect my energy really well. I will say I've learned. I haven't always been this way, but I've learned. But what I will say too is that if you were not making an effort to better your life, if you were just continuing to put yourself in the same circumstances over and over and over again and asking me the same thing over and over and over without like wanting to make a change, that would be draining for me because I wouldn't have any new information to provide to you, and I would feel like I'm not being helpful because you're not willing to work on yourself either. And I do have people that will come in here. Not always. A lot of times people are wanting to hear the truth and they're willing to cut ties and move forward. But sometimes there are people who are kind of stuck in a cycle, and that's when it gets really draining for me. Because my goal in life with these readings is providing a sense of direction or clarity that helps you make the best decision for yourself. And when I can feel that openness and that understanding and that willingness to hear me out and take that with you, and then you come back and you're like, I did it, that feels good to me. That feels cleansing, and that feels like a release. So don't worry at all about how I'm feeling because you are making these readings a lot easier for me by trying to better your life in the process. But you are very welcome, and we'll talk soon, I'm sure. I hope you have a good night, and if I don't see you tomorrow, then have a great rest of your weekend, okay?
I know this is late Saturday night. That does not mean the college football weekend is over. Far from it. Tomorrow, Sunday, we have two really interesting games. Kickoff game, South Carolina, number 15 in the country, is Virginia Tech. Lots of side stories in that game. And then how about Notre Dame in Miami Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern ABC. Tomorrow, and then Monday, we finish it off with Bill Belichick's debut and North Carolina. To see great quarterback play all over North Sellers, Carson Kemp, Josh Hoover. This is going to be a really fun lineup. Fighting Irish going down to Fort Lauderdale. Should be the top play of this first half. Kick on the way, and it is good. It's a whole new year for the Golden Bears. Field goal, 49 yards, no problem. Beautiful baby draw by Murray right through the uprights. Fantastic execution and the 2-minute drill by the true freshman quarterback, Sonu Politano. That is impressive. They got the turnover with under a minute to go on their own side of the field and trusted the young quarterback to get points on the board. The Oregon State head coach is with Morgan.
Coach Ray, what in your mind has disrupted the rhythm of your offense here in the first half?
There's nothing. We never started with the rhythm, so there was no disruption. We got to just calm down and play. We're trying to do too much. It's stressing. There's no need to.
Well, defensively, it seems like you did play settled in after those first two drives. What changed?
I think guys just calm down. I mean, we forced them to 3 and out the first drive, and then coaches were dumb, and we get a penalty, and it extends their drive. And then they come back and play well. Yep.
All right, thanks, Stormy, and thanks to Trent Bray. And as the Beavers go into the halftime locker room trying to improve after a first half that was mostly controlled by the Golden Bears. We've hit the half, 17-3 the score. Matt, Joey, and EJ after this short break.
What's happening at Papa John's?
Buy 2 large one-topping pizzas, get them both for just $9.99 each. It's only for a limited time, alright? We're making you 2 large one-topping pizzas for $9.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
With Chase, you can get a debit card for your kids' independence. And parental notifications, so you can keep an eye on how they're using it. Still on budget. Control for parents. Freedom. That's family banking from Chase. Make more once you
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the cold. Cold water, cold filter, cold package. Mountain Cold Professional. Coolers Light. Choose chill.
You just got a $180 fabulous animal print maxi dress for $54, which means you also just got a $180 reason to actually use your stand-up desk for $54. You ever bought Reese's while eating Reese's?
Hey girl, doing good. How are you? Hungry. Yay! Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started on that for you. So just give me a few minutes, okay? Hey girl, welcome back. I kind of just got started. We almost halfway is where I'm at right now. The weather, it was like 75 today, but it got down to like 60 degrees tonight. I like it though. I'm ready for fall. I mean, it's the last weekend of summer. The pool is closing tomorrow or Monday, and I feel like I'm racing against the clock, but it's been nice. It's been nice. I love fall. Fall is my favorite season. It always has been. So many good things happen to me in the fall, and I think I would like to fall before it became a bandwagon thing. I want to say, like, even in elementary school, people would be like, "What's your favorite season?" And I would say fall. Like, I do enjoy every season though. I do feel like every season is beautiful, and I'm glad I live in a place where I can experience every season. But there's just something about fall that feels like my fresh start. It's like my fresh start season. Like, I just feel so good going into it. And yeah, so I like that it was a little cooler today. It gave me all the feels. How is the weather where you're at? Is on the bandwagon. Fall and winter. Me too. Me too. Yeah, I love it. I love the cooler weather. Like I said, I'm excited with every season. I don't think I could live in a place where I didn't get to experience all 4 seasons. That would be really sad to me. But just fall, knowing it's like spooky season's coming up, knowing the holidays are coming up, I always have so much fun. And I don't normally spring clean, I fall clean. Because you can open the windows and it's nice and cool in your house, and you make soups and pot roast and all the like yummy comfort foods, baggy clothes. I don't know. I just love it. That's how the weather is here. You thought you had another beach day left, but the lows are in the 50s at the beach too. Too cold. Yeah. Ugh. That's the one bummer about summer is like when you feel like you have one more day. You're like, I've got one more in me. And then the weather doesn't cooperate. But normally we will go to the beach around this time of year. And my sister always goes for her birthday week. Like, it just always happens to fall on that. Because if you get a beach house, like, after Labor Day, it's usually more affordable. And it always lines up with her birthday. So, like, last year when we went, it was really, really nice weather. I think we might have had rain one day. But we also go south. So maybe that was a factor. But I'm like, I think we're in for a pretty cold winter because, like, to feel that in August it was already cooling down when August is supposedly supposed to be one of the like hottest months of the year, and feeling like the last week or two is like really cooled down. I think we're in for a very cold winter this year. You do end of summer cleaning and fast in September into the fall. Yeah, doesn't it feel like a reset? During the season, they can get really expensive. Yes, exactly. You think so too? I don't know. I feel like we're in for some snow this year, and I just can feel it. I remember when it was super hot in September last year. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, in September last year, we were still warm. And I actually remember a couple Halloweens ago where it was like hot and it was Halloween. It might have been, I'm trying to think. I don't think it was 2022 because that's the year Brennan proposed to me, and I remember we were wearing like hoodies and stuff. But it might have been 2020. It might have been, was it last? No, maybe it was 2023. I don't know. One of the recent Halloweens, it was hot, like hot. So I don't think we're going to be dealing with that this year. I love the snow. This year we got a lot of snow. Oh my god, me too. I love looking at it. I love like how peaceful everything feels, and like it feels kind of like the world stops for a little while, and I really like that. I don't normally play in it, but if it's a really good snow, you kind of have to, you know? Oh, it was 2023. Okay. Yeah, like I feel like I was like, it wasn't last year, but it wasn't the year he proposed to me, so it must have been the year of our wedding. And actually, you know why I can't remember last year is because I wasn't living here. Or no, I wasn't here. I was living here. I wasn't here in Virginia last year Halloween. I was on a plane heading to Texas. So I really don't remember last year. I have no like idea last year what it felt like over on the East Coast because I wasn't here. I'll tell you, it was hot in Texas. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's definitely going to be cold winters. I'm looking forward to it though. I really am. I'm looking forward to a cold winter. It just gives all the holiday feels, you know, when it's cold outside. I don't know. I like it. I'm almost done with your reading, by the way. You need one more beach day, so maybe you'll take a 2-day trip to Miami. Oh, that would be fun. Still too pasty. You're so funny. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I really think you can get another beach day in. Maybe, because I'm trying to remember where you're at. Are you north of me? Because I feel like, yeah, you might have to go south. Because we usually will go to like the Outer Banks and typically have good weather, but not always. And there's like that fine line between like hurricane season and warm weather and it not being cold. And then hoping and praying that the tides aren't crazy. It's like you have to find like the perfect alignment. Oh my gosh. That's what my sister said. She's like, she texted me today and she said, I thought I was excited for fall, but then I walk outside and it's 60 degrees and I realize how sad I am that summer is over. But, you know, she spent half her summer in her house because she had a C-section and like halfway through summer, July 15th. And so her, like basically July, in the middle of July, her summer was over. She got a lot of pool days and stuff like that in because she knew she was going to have her. But her whole entire summer got cut short. And so, like, I do empathize with her on that. But I'm fine. I'm ready for fall. Hurricane season scares you. Yeah, me too. Me too. My cousin, who I do readings with sometimes, Brittany, she went to OBX a couple weeks back when Hurricane Aaron, I don't know which one it was coming up the coast, and she ended up having to cut her vacation short, which really sucks. So it's like you kind of have to pick like just the perfect time, and sometimes it'll still get in the way. Yeah, I do think this summer went by really, really fast. Yeah, she recovers really fast and really well. But she didn't get her quote unquote okay until this week. And this was her 6-week checkup this week. So, you know, they said everything looks good or whatever. And she got a pool day in. But it was basically like within the hour that we got there, it was like already looking like it was going to storm. So she didn't get a lot of time that day. And then it actually did start raining. So, you know, and that was her last day of the summer. So I just feel for her. If she had her own pool and stuff, it would have been fine because she would have gotten a lot of time in. We have a neighborhood pool, so yeah, I want to say like 4 weeks to really start feeling kind of back to it, but then of course she kind of didn't want to push it getting in the pool without at least her doctor looking at her incision. So but she was doing pretty good. I think she was back to work. She only took 4 weeks off of work. Okay, so this is your message. I've been sitting with a few things lately about the space between where we are and where we could be. There's a sense that I'm standing on the edge of something bigger, waiting to unfold. I keep finding myself drawn toward that possibility. I feel like you have been this secret that I don't want to keep inside. I'm tired of holding back and keeping these thoughts to myself. I don't want to pretend that my life is better without you in it. I care about you deeply, and my fear is fading away and getting quieter, while my passion is getting stronger and louder. You aren't just a passing thrill to me. There's something real that could grow if we wanted it to. You light up spaces in me that I forgot existed. And I sent it to you. Super, super sweet. And I feel like it's very straightforward, which is nice. You know, I feel like he's been playing it cool in his life, and, you know, maybe you are like feeling like a secret to him, and he's just like, I don't want to. Because I feel like his feelings for you feel like a secret because he's not expressing them to you directly. And then also in his life, in his day-to-day life, he's also like having to pretend like you're not on his mind, you know? Okay, well, I'm glad you haven't forgotten because I definitely did forget. I totally forgot. Whoops. It is straightforward, yeah. Yeah. I do like that he said you're not like a passing thrill to him. You're not a passing thrill or passing thought. You know, this is not like just some quick thing for him. And I like how he kind of refers to you as a light for him, a light in his life. Illumination is always good. And saying you light up the parts of my life that I didn't know existed or I forgot existed. It's kind of like a double meaning because I think in one way he's saying you bring a lot of joy and happiness to my life, and then in the other he's saying you're lighting up and illuminating the parts of myself that maybe have been in the shadows, the parts of myself that I've needed to pay attention to and I just haven't. So, you know, and then the light is also like epiphanies and just like these light bulb moments of clarity. So I think like that reference is really fitting, actually. He said, I made sure I made a note because my memory is so bad. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for doing that. And obviously, no rush. Like, yes, I'm looking forward to whatever it is you're sending me. But this week has been so crazy. I legit did forget. You're welcome. Thank you for the donation. I hope you get that beach day, girl. Have a good night. And thank you. We'll talk soon. Hey, Mystic. Go ahead and type your question, okay? And let me know what your question is. I have you down for a mini reading. Okay, how is CS feeling about your reaction to him trying to talk to you? He feels like you are a vault, like you are locked up, like you aren't really showing much on the outside. He feels like you're being very reserved and he can't really read you, and it's a little bit maybe uncomfortable for him because he doesn't really know what you're thinking. I'm not saying that you didn't give any kind of warmth whatsoever. I'm just saying that I feel like he didn't get a good read on your feelings about what was discussed. I don't think he necessarily feels rejection, but I feel like he just doesn't know what to think. Like, I think he walked away still a little bit unclear on your perspective, if that makes sense. You said you were feeling anxious. Oh, so you acted weird. Okay. Yeah. I feel like he walked away maybe even more confused than he came into it. Like, I feel like he couldn't really read you. Like, he didn't know if you were interested in having a conversation with him, or if he caught you off guard, or if all of the above. That's interesting. Okay. Do you want him to talk to you again? You were trying to hide that you had bad anxiety. You'll get an opportunity. You will get an opportunity to rewrite this story. Okay. I have the judgment card, and that talks about like bringing clarity into a situation and opening up more and rewriting history. So I think you will be presented with an opportunity to kind of change that dynamic because you were anxious. But I think it is going to require you to be a little bit more forward with him, because I think maybe he felt like, not that you weren't interested, but kind of like, I feel like he's just unsure, and maybe he's worried about talking to you again and like getting the same kind of reaction. So I think when the opportunity presents itself, if you could be the one that kind of sticks your neck out a little bit and lets him see that that was just a momentary thing, then I think he will be like more willing to open back up to you again. I think you just might have to kind of initiate it a little bit, because he, like I said, he didn't necessarily feel rejection, but at the same time, I don't know if he felt like welcoming from you. So he's a little bit like, I don't really know. And I feel maybe like you both were a little bit disappointed about how that went. So I think you can come back from this. I think you can repair this. I think you can come back from it. But we just need you to open up a little bit more. Like, make something up. Like, you can tell him the truth. You can say, I was really nervous, like when you were talking to me. Or you can just make something up and just be like, I was just having a really off day. Like, if you bring attention to it and bring light to it and be authentic about it, I feel like he will be very receptive to that. And I think that this will kind of blow over. But don't let this linger for very long, because his perspective is that you are locked up and that you wanted no part of what was happening, which obviously is not true. But from his perspective, he was like, oh no, am I making her uncomfortable? Like, is she okay? I don't really know. And like I said, he didn't necessarily feel rejected. I just think he walked away not necessarily knowing what to think at all. He said, that's what I thought. I feel like he might want to know for sure if I like him. That makes sense. Yeah. So take the next opportunity when you see him to like rewrite this, to change this, to, I'm not saying you have to like throw yourself at the guy, but I am saying like going into it a little bit more mentally prepared and being more open and more receptive and more warm and inviting and things like that. That's gonna really like thaw this weirdness that's happening right now. I think maybe you were overthinking it, and I think now he's overthinking your reaction. And so we've got to figure out a way to like kind of come back from this. And I think you can. I think it will blow over. Did you want to add on for anything else, or does that answer your question? He said he was with a friend, so you got nervous. Oh no. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah, sometimes when it's like the 2-on-1 or there's more people around, that can be even more nerve-wracking as well, because now you feel like you're being watched by multiple eyes. And yeah, I completely understand. Yeah, hopefully next time is a 1-on-1 opportunity. But either way, I think you'll go into it more prepared, and I think it will be fine. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks, girl. Appreciate it.